So that recent situation with Steam has gotten a little bit worse. For a recap on what the situation is, basically this huge list of games got removed from Steam because Steam updated the TOS to abide by like what payment processors want, and payment processors wanted these games removed. And realistically, I don't think people were actually defending these games in particular because, I mean, look at the games. People are more so upset because payment processors should not be able to determine what goes on Steam. It's that simple. Because yeah, payment processors might be the right side of history right now, but what happens when they're not? What do you do about that? But it turns out it wasn't just payment processors going after Steam, it was also a couple advocate groups, one called Collective Shout, which is an Australian-based group against sexual exploitation, and then there's a US-based group called NCOSE. And I didn't know much about these two groups going into researching this. I researched this because I saw them pop up when I researched why the payment processors are going after Steam. But then I found out the Collective Shout campaigned against Detroit Become Human, which is a really bad start. But most of Collective Shout's arguments center around children and like protecting children online, which I don't really disagree with the premise that we should protect kids online, but Steam is not a place for children. I'm sorry to say. A lot of the games on the front page are rated M, and a lot of the games online are like pretty nasty in terms of like what people say in game lobbies. Steam is generally not a place for children, so I don't know why they're even bothering. And in general, the whole idea of making the internet safe for kids, I think, is one, impossible, and two, not very practical. When it comes to the internet, sure, there's kids online, but whose job is it to get kids off the internet? Oh yeah, their parents. Like if you're a parent and you have a kid, you're not gonna send them to the bar or a nightclub. Letting them online, kind of a similar thing. Now, obviously, I think there should be places online that are actually safe for kids. I just don't think Steam is that place whatsoever. I was playing Deadlock the other day, and a guy added me on Steam to call me slurs. Steam is not a place for children. And again, I don't have an issue with these specific games being banned, like this big list. I really don't care. I don't like that payment processors are the one that made the decision. I wish it was Valve independently making that decision because that's ultimately like what it should be. And I frankly don't like Collective Shout that much because I think they're a bad organization in terms of how they're approaching the situation. Because if you're making an open letter to payment processors to stop processing payments for games like this on Steam, and then you're also going after Detroit Become Human, you immediately make this big list of games that are probably all pretty bad look way better because you're also trying to ban Detroit Become Human. It's really dumb. It's a really dumb thing to do. When you go after legitimate pieces of art and then compare them to this, of course you're gonna make your argument look weaker because you're comparing these things. Going after Detroit Become Human and also these games is basically saying both these games are equally as bad. And in turn, what you do is you make these games look more legitimate because you're also going after a legitimate game. And don't get me wrong, there's things that Steam could do better, right? Like Steam, for example, could toggle not safe for work content off by default, and you have to turn it on manually because right now I think it's on by default, which I don't think should be the default. But Collective Shout, when you go after legitimate pieces of art like Detroit Become Human, and then you compare them to games like this, all you do is muddy the waters of your own argument. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. And then the second group that was also involved in the campaign to get these games removed, the NCOSE. Now this group is kind of in the same boat with the Collective Shout. They go after the weirdest sets of games and delegitimize their own points. Like this group wanted to remove Honey Pop, which I'm pretty sure is just like lewd Candy Crush, which is a ridiculous thing to go after. And they also advocated for age verification laws in places like Texas, which is very, very short-sighted. If you make websites verify people's identity to access adult content, all you're doing is creating a database of people's identification. It's really, really dumb. But they celebrate it with open arms because they only think of the thing right in front of their faces. And add insult to injury, these groups were also against GTA 5 because you could run people over, which is ridiculous. Now, they were also against it for other reasons, okay? But in general, going after GTA 5 is kind of stupid. Like, I understand the perspective, it's just a dumb perspective. And the worst part is, I don't even disagree with the general things these advocate groups are trying to do. I just think they're going about it in all of the wrong ways and making everyone hate them for no reason. It's like they woke up and said, what game does everyone like? We should go after that one. It's a lot like how PETA stands for an overall good message, and then they ruin it with their own behavior. And what's even more weird is that Vice made an article about all of these organizations, right? And then it got removed. Why did it get removed? The article was good. It talked about all these organizations and what they supported in the past and why they're doing it now. If you run an organization like Collective Shout, you can't be going after stuff like GTA 5 because it makes no sense. No one's going to agree with you. And when you go after games like GTA 5 or Detroit Become Human, whenever actual bad games exist and you go after them too, you make them seem less bad because you already went after GTA 5. It's like every one of these organizations has never played a game in their life and is only seen funny moments videos on YouTube where people are getting run over. That's what it seems like. Collective Shout and the NCOSC are kind of like the boy who cried wolf, okay? They cry and cry about legitimate games, and then when something actually bad pops up, no one believes them because they just bitch about everything. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Blue Sky down below. Check out my Discord server as well. If you guys enjoy more content, have a good one.